Right, 1.4, we're going to continue with systems of equations. So we did equations when we had one variable. We did systems of equations where we had two variables and two equations. Now we're going to have three variables and three equations. So our solution is going to be an ordered triple. So instead of an ordered pair, it's going to have x, y, then z. So we're just finding three variables now. It talks about how the solution would look if we have one variable. So like each equation is kind of like a plane here, and where all three intersect, that would be our one solution. If they intersect in a line, so if all three of our planes intersect in a line, it would be infinitely many solutions. So this would be an example where we had something like 0 equals 0, or like a number equals a number. That's true. So we talked about this a little bit with our system of equations. And then we could possibly have no solution where all three of our lines don't intersect. And this would be if we get something like 6 equals 0, something that's not true, because 6 doesn't equal 0. So here we could possibly have infinitely many solutions or no solution, or just one solution. Right. So step 1 is we want to rewrite the linear system in three variables as a linear system in two variables by using the substitution or elimination method. So our goal is to eliminate one of the variables first. So looking at our three equations here in example 1, I'm going to label them as 1, 2, and 3. Now we want to pick a variable to eliminate. So I would always just look at all three of your x's, all three of your y's, and all three of your z's. Which do you think would be the easiest to eliminate? Which do you think we might only have to multiply one equation, or maybe have to multiply two? Kind of has the same numbers. This one, we really don't have any that has the same numbers, but I do have a y here that doesn't have a coefficient. So I'm going to pick the y's to eliminate. So you can pick whichever variable you want. Just make sure you're consistent with eliminating that variable. So I picked y. So the next step, when we have three equations, you want to work with two at a time. So let's pick two equations and eliminate the y's. Which two equations do you want to work with? Which two? 2 and 3. We can do that because looking at our y's, it might be a little bit easier to work with 2 and 3 to get them to cancel, just because 3 does have the coefficient of 1, so that one would probably be one of the easiest to work with. So 2 and 3. So we have 2x minus 3y plus 5z equals negative 7. 6x minus y, is that a plus here? Yeah, plus 4z equals negative 3. Now we said we want to eliminate the y's. So what would I need to multiply into which equation to get our y's to cancel? I'm going to multiply by what? A negative 3 to the second equation to make that a positive 3. Because remember, we want it to be the same sign, or the same number, but opposite signs. So I'm going to multiply everything in my second equation by negative 3. So my new second equation is going to be negative 18x plus 3y minus 12z is equal to positive 9. I'm going to rewrite the top equation right below it just to make it easier for us to add. Now, will my y's eliminate? Yes, perfect. That was my goal, is to get my y's to eliminate. So now let's combine all of our like terms together. So I'm going to add the x's, add the z's, and add our constants. What's negative 18x plus 2x? Negative 16x. The y's cancel. What's negative 2z plus 5z? negative 7z. And then that would be equal to 9 plus negative 7.
Is that 2 or 12?
Negative 12z plus 5z. Yeah, so that would be negative 7. And then 9 minus 7 would be positive 2. So here we have one equation with two variables. We're going to stop here and go back to our original equations. So once we eliminated one of our variables, we have to stick with that one. So I want to eliminate the y's again, but I need to pick two different equations now. So which two equations do we want to work with next? So we just did 2 and 3. So I've got to include 1. You want to do 1 and which other equation? 1 and 3, that works. Again, 3 is a good one because that y has a coefficient of 1. So let's work with 1 and 3. We're going to do the same exact thing. We have to make sure we stick with y's to eliminate. So if you eliminate y's in the beginning, you have to eliminate y's the second time too. So we have 4x plus 2y plus 3z is equal to 12. And our third equation is 6x minus y plus 4z is equal to negative 3. So we want our y's to eliminate. What do I have to multiply into which equation in order to get them to eliminate? Positive 2 to the third equation there. So that turns it into a 12x minus 2y plus 8z is equal to negative 6. And I'm going to rewrite my first equation right below it. So 4x plus 2y plus 3z is equal to 12. Now I'm going to combine these two together. So 12x plus 4x is 16x. The y's cancel. 8z plus 3z, 11z. So plus 11z is equal to negative 6 plus 12, 6. So now I have two equations with two variables. So I'm going to put these two equations together and combine them just like I did in the last section. So I'm going to write them right on top of each other and use elimination again. So I have negative 16x minus 7z is equal to 2. Positive 16x plus 11z is equal to 6. Do I have a variable that's going to eliminate? Which one? The x's. The x's cancel. What's negative 7z plus 11z? 4z. And 2 plus 6? 8. What do we do next? Divide by 4. So z is equal to 2. So we found one of our variables, but we're going to need 3 of them. We are going to have 3 answers. So once we find one, I can't just go back and plug it into one of the original equations. If you have one variable, you have to plug it into an equation with 2 variables. So I can either plug it into this one with 2 variables or this one. It doesn't matter which one. I'm going to plug it into the one on the right just because, I don't know, I wanted to. So I'm going to plug it into z there. So 16x plus 11 times 2 is equal to 6. What do I do next? Multiply. 16x plus 22 is equal to 6. What's next? Subtract the 22. So 16x is equal to 6 minus 22, which is negative 16. What do we do next? Divide by 16. So what does x equal? Negative 1. We are still not done. We found 2 of our variables. How do you think I can find the third one? Plug them both back into one of our original equations. So again, doesn't matter which original equation you want to plug it into. I'm just going to plug them into the first one. So I'm plugging them into equation 1. We have 4x, which is 4 times -1, plus 2y, plus 3 times z, which is 2, is equal to 12. So I plugged in z and I plugged in x. Now let's multiply. So you have -4 plus 2y plus 6 is equal to 12. What would I do next? I'm going to combine my like terms on one side. So -4 plus 6 would be 2. And then what? Now subtract 2. So 2y is equal to 10. And lastly, divide by 2. So y is equal to 5. And then just like before, we write our answer as an ordered pair. So we always go x, then y, then z. So our x was -1, our y is 5, and our z is 2. These questions require a lot of work. So you have to be careful with your work, because if you make one little mistake in the beginning, it's going to throw off all of your answers. The one thing that you have to do twice is this step. You have to combine 2 equations together, eliminate a variable, combine another 2 equations, and eliminate the variable. You have to do this step twice. Get your 2 equations with 2 variables, then combine those together. From there, once you start finding variables, you just plug it back in and then plug them back in. All right, let's do the next one. So I have 3 equations. I'm going to label them as 1, 2, and 3, just to make it easy to work with. Now we want to pick a variable to eliminate. Which variable do you want to pick? We can pick y, that works. Y is a good one because we have a positive 8y and a negative 8y, so we know those 2 will eliminate right off the bat. So that's a good one to pick. So which 2, we know we're eliminating y, which 2 equations do you want to pick to eliminate y first? 1 and 3, awesome choices. 1 and 3. So we have 6x plus 8y minus 6z is equal to 62. And 3 is 12x minus 8y plus 20z is equal to -68. Will the y's eliminate? Yep, so we can go ahead and just combine all of our like terms now. So 6x plus 12x would be 18x. Our y's cancel, perfect. What's -6z plus 20z? 14z. And 62 minus 68? -6. Once we eliminate our y's, what do I have to do next? We have to do the same thing again. You have to do this step twice. So we have to pick another 2 equations. Which 2 do you want to work with next? Let's do 2 and 3. So 2 and 3. 10x minus 12y minus 14z is equal to 14. And 3 is 12x minus 8y plus 20z is equal to -68. We know we still have to eliminate the y's. What do you want to multiply to get our y's to eliminate? Perfect. We want our y's to be 24 because that's a common factor of both 12 and 8. So I'm going to multiply the first equation times 2, and the second equation we can multiply by -3 because remember we want it to be the same number but opposite signs. So I'm going to multiply and I'll write it below. So my new first equation is going to be 20x minus 24y minus 28z is equal to 28. My second equation is going to be negative 36x plus 24y minus 60z is equal to negative 68 times negative 3. Let's write it up top. 204. Now will our y's eliminate? Yes. So y's cancel. What's 20x minus 36x? Negative 16x. Negative 28z minus 60z. Negative 88z. And then 28 plus 204. 232. What do we do next? So I'm going to take the two equations that I just formed, these two, and combine them together. 18x plus 14z is equal to negative 6, and negative 16x minus 88z is equal to 232. Now we have been multiplying our equations to make our numbers the same, but also remember that you can divide by the same number because you can multiply by a fraction, which is the same thing as dividing. So if you needed to, you could always divide. Once your numbers get really big, and if you see they're all even numbers, you can divide, make them smaller. But which variable do you want to eliminate now? It doesn't go in. So let's maybe try to divide, make our numbers a little bit smaller. What can I divide the first equation by? What's a common factor between 18, 14, and 6? 2. Let's divide them all by 2. So I'm technically multiplying by 1/2. So I'm just dividing them all by 2. So this would be 9x plus 7z is equal to negative 3. What can I divide my second equation by to make our numbers a little bit smaller? 4. We can do that. So I'm technically multiplying by 1/4, which is the same thing as dividing by 4. So my new second equation here would be, bless you, negative 4x. This would be negative 22z is equal to 58. What do you want to do next? Remember, we want to eliminate one of our variables. I can still divide the second equation to make it even smaller. Let's divide it all by 2 now. So I have negative 2x minus 11z is equal to 29. So I made it smaller. Now what can we do? Which variable do you want to eliminate? Let's eliminate the x. What do I need to multiply in order to eliminate the x? The second one I need to multiply by 9, and what else? The top one by 2. So we have 18x plus 14z is equal to negative 6, and negative 18x minus 99z is equal to 29 times 9. $261. Do our x's eliminate now? Yes. What is 14z minus 99z? Negative 85z. And that would be equal to negative 6 plus 261. 255. All right, let's divide. So 255 divided by 85, I think it's 3. I'm going to write it on the side here just to be super sure. 3 times 5 is 15. 3 times 8 is 24. Plus 5, 255. Thank goodness. So z is equal to negative 3. All that work and we only found one variable. What do I need to do to find another one? Plug it in. Plug it in where? We can plug it into one of these two, or we could plug it into one of the simplified ones. So I could plug it into these two, which are the same thing, one of these two, which again are the same thing, just simplified. It doesn't matter. I'm going to plug it into one of the originals, the light blue one on the left. So what did we find? Z is negative 3. So here I have 18x plus 14 times negative 3 is equal to negative 6. 14 times negative 3 would be what? Negative 42. Then what do we do? Add 42, move it to the other side. 18x is equal to 36. And then what? Divide by 18. So what does x equal? 2. What do we do next? Now I'm going to take both of my answers and plug it into one of the original ones. I'm going to plug it into equation 1. So 6 times 2 plus 8y minus 6 times negative 3 is equal to 62. 6 times 2 is 12 plus 8y. This will be plus 18 is equal to 62. I'm going to combine my like terms next. So 8y plus 30 is equal to 62. What do I do next? Subtract 30. So 8y is equal to 32. Lastly, we divide by 8. So y is equal to 4. What can we do next? We already plugged it all in. We got our 3 answers. How do I write them? Write it in the parentheses. So remember, it's x, then y, then z. So 2, 4, negative 3. Looking at this question, all 3 of our original equations, do you notice anything, just looking at the first equation, do you notice anything about it, any common factors that we might have? We could have simplified from the start. Every single number that we're working with here, they're all divisible by 2. So if we wanted to, we could have divided them all by 2 and just worked with smaller numbers to begin with. You don't have to do it, but it might help when you get into the combining, because we ended up multiplying and made the numbers even bigger. So you can divide at the start. On the next page, I'm going to start by labeling my equations 1, 2, and 3. Which variable do you want to eliminate? We can pick x. Anybody see what might be a better choice to eliminate? Why would you pick y instead? Because they all are already 2y. They're all already the same number, and one of them's even an opposite, so it'll make it a little bit easier to combine together. So we're going to stick with y's to eliminate. You can do it with x's. It doesn't matter which one you pick first. It just might be a little bit more work because you'll have to make them the same number but opposites. So eliminating y's, which two equations do you want to pick first? 1 and 2. Good choice. So equation 1 is x minus 2y plus z is equal to negative 11. Equation 2 is negative x plus 2y plus 4z is equal to negative 9. Oh, yep, negative 7. Oh, I was writing 3. I wrote the whole thing wrong. 3x plus 2y minus z is equal to 7. Thank you. All right, we said we were going to eliminate the y's. Do our y's eliminate? Yes, so let's combine everything. What's x plus 3x? 4x. What is z minus z? 0. It goes away too. And what's negative 11 plus 7? Negative 4. Here do I have two variables? No, I have one, so I can solve it. What would I do to solve? Divide by 4. So x is equal to? Negative 1. So we found one of our answers, but I don't have enough information to plug it back into one of our original questions yet, because if you have one variable, you have to plug it into an equation with two variables. So I have to do that step again. Remember, we always have to do this step twice. So now, which two equations do you want to pick to eliminate the y's again? 1 and 3. Again, good choices because we see we already have y's that'll cancel out. So 1 and 3. So we have x minus 2y plus z is equal to negative 11. And negative x plus 2y plus 4z is equal to negative 9. Our y's eliminate, which was our goal. Perfect. What's x minus x? 0. That cancels out too. What's z plus 4z? 5z. And negative 11 minus 9? Negative 20. I only have one variable again here. Can I just solve this? Yeah. What do I need to do to solve? Divide by 5. So z is equal to negative 4. Now that I have two variables, what can I do? Plug it into one of the originals. Once you have two answers, you can plug it into one of the originals to find the third. So I'm going to plug it into 1. So x is negative 1 minus 2 times y plus negative 4 is equal to negative 11. So negative 1 minus 2y minus 4 equals negative 11. I'm going to combine my like terms. So negative 2y minus 5 equals negative 11. What would we do next? Add 5. So negative 2y is equal to negative 6. And then what? Divide by negative 2. So y is equal to 3. How would I write my answer? Perfect. Your x, then y, then z. So negative 1, comma 3, comma negative 4. So this question was a lot less work than the last one. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes you'll get lucky and two of your variables will eliminate to start and you'll find an answer right away. So some of these questions require a lot of work. Some might be a little bit less. Just depends if we get lucky or not. This is where we're going to stop for the notes today. We'll do the rest of them tomorrow. So we left off on the question that says example 2 at the top. So remember, we want to pick a variable, either x, y, or z, and stick with that one to eliminate. So which variable do you want to eliminate? We can pick y, that works. Remember, you can pick any of your variables. Some of them will be a little bit easier to eliminate than others, but there is no wrong answer. You can choose whichever one you want to eliminate. So we want to eliminate the y's. So now we want to work with 2 equations at a time to get our y's to eliminate. Which 2 equations do you want to pick? 1 and 3, we can do that. It's a good choice because they're both already the same number, but we need them to be the same number but opposites. So 1 and 3. We have x plus y plus z is equal to 2. 4x plus y minus 3z is equal to negative 6. Bless you. All right, so we want to cancel the y's. Do my y's cancel here? No. What do I need to multiply by into which equation to get them to cancel? -1 to the first equation. So we're going to multiply everything in our first equation by -1. So it turns into negative x, bless you, minus y minus z is equal to -2. Now do our y's cancel? Yep. What's negative x plus 4x? 3x. Negative z minus 3z? Negative 4z. And that's equal to -8. Now we have one equation with 2 variables. I need another one. So what would I do next? We're going to do that same step again. We're going to pick number 2 and which other equation? I'm going to pick 2 and 1, just because the numbers in 1 look a little bit easier to work with. So 2, we have 5x plus 5y plus 5z equals. It doesn't matter. You can put 1 on top, 1 and 2. It doesn't matter. So 1 is x plus y plus z is equal to 2. What should we do next? Multiply it by what? -5. Perfect. Again, we want our y's to cancel. We picked y from the beginning, so we have to eliminate the y's in this step twice. So we did it already. Now we have to do it a second time. So I'm going to multiply the second equation by -5. So -5x minus 5y minus 5z is equal to -10. So this is my new equation. I'm going to cross this one out so we don't get confused. And I'm going to combine my new first equation with the second equation. Do the y's cancel now? Yep. What's 5x minus 5x? 0. What's 5z minus 5z? 0. So we get 0 on the left side of our equation. What's 3 minus 10? -7. Does 0 equal -7? So what would our answer be? No solution. And right when we get no solution, we're done. You don't have to keep working. That's it. All right, for A, down at the bottom, I'm going to label my equations 1, 2, and 3. Which variable do you want to eliminate? We can pick y again. That's fine. Let's do y. So remember, if we pick y, we got to stick with y. So which 2 equations do you want to combine? 1 and 2? Let's do it. So I have x plus y plus z is equal to 1. 6x plus 9y minus 12z is equal to 14. Now we said we want to cancel out our y's. So what do I need to multiply to get my y's to cancel? -9 to which equation? To the first one. I'm going to multiply it by -9, and I'm going to write it right below. So -9x minus 9y minus 9z is equal to negative 9. Do the y's cancel? Yep, so let's combine all the others. 6x minus 9x, negative 3x, negative 12z minus 9z, negative 21z, and 14 minus 9, 5. All right, so once we get one equation with two variables, we stop there. What do we do next? We do that same thing again. Which two equations do you want to pick now? 1 and 3? Or 2 and 3? Doesn't matter. I'm going to pick 2 and 3. So 6x plus 9y minus 12z is equal to 14. And 12x plus 18y minus 24z is equal to negative 11. Since we canceled out our y's to begin with, we have to cancel out the y's again. So what do I need to multiply by to get my y's to cancel? Negative 2 to the first equation. So that turns into negative 12x minus 18y plus 24z is equal to negative 28. Do the y's cancel? Yep, so let's combine the rest. What's 12x minus 12? 0. What's negative 24z plus 24? 0. So we end up with 0 on the left side because everything cancels. What's negative 11 minus 28? Negative 39. Does 0 equal negative 39? No, so what's our answer? No solution. Sometimes, like let's say we picked 2 and 3 to combine first, we'll end up with no solution without even having to do like the work that we did on the left. So sometimes it'll happen super quick. I think if we would have picked 1 and 3 to work with, they may not have canceled out, but in the next step, then everything would have canceled. So then you would have gotten no solution. So there's many ways that you can do these questions. Some work will be shorter than others, but you'll end up with the same answer. Any questions here? All right, let's do the last one. I'm going to label my equations 1, 2, and 3. Which variable do you want to eliminate?
X.
We can do x. I would probably pick z just because they are already the same coefficient and we have one that's negative, so that'll help us. But we could definitely do x. You want to do z? All right. Again, if you pick x, your work may look a little different, but you'll end up with the same answer. There's many, many ways that you can solve these. So let's pick z. Which two equations do you want to combine? 1 and 2. So we have x minus y plus z is equal to negative 3. And 2 is x minus y minus z is equal to negative 3. Do the z's cancel? Yep, perfect. So let's combine the rest. What's x plus x? 2x. What's negative y minus y? Negative 2y. And negative 3 minus 3? Negative 6. What do we do next? Do that same thing over again. You have to do that step twice. Let's pick 2 and 3. So x minus y minus z is equal to negative 3. 5x minus 5y plus z is equal to negative 15. Remember, we're canceling out the z's. Do the z's cancel? Yep, so we don't even have to multiply to start. What's x plus 5x? 6x. What's negative y plus minus 5y? Negative 6y. And negative 3 minus 15, negative 18. What do I do next? I combine those two equations. So once I get two equations with two variables, I'm going to combine those together. So I have 2x minus 2y was equal to negative 6, and 6x minus 6y is equal to negative 18. Now from here, we want to either cancel out the x's or the y's. We have to do elimination again. We can cancel out the x's. What do I need to multiply by to get the x's to cancel? Negative 3. So everything in our equation here needs to get multiplied by negative 3. So it turns into negative 6x plus 6y is equal to positive 18. Do the x's cancel? Yep. What's negative 6y plus 6y? 0. What's negative 18 plus 18? 0. Does 0 equal 0? So what's our answer? Infinitely many solutions. Sure. There's a bubble, like questions that could possibly be no solution or infinitely many solutions. It's like bubble answers. So you would bubble infinitely many and then don't put anything in the x, y, and z.
You don't put anything in it?